Hi, my name is Ken Oliver, and I'm here at Scrapbook.com to show you my brand new liquid watercolors. You are gonna love the colors of our brand new liquid watercolors. They're very intense and bold, and they flow easily. And what I'm gonna show you today is really how to paint a color wheel so that you have a good idea of how these colors work and how they all work together. You are really gonna love these because they're the same beautiful colors as our color burst line, but now in a liquid form that lets you create in all new ways. You're gonna love it. So really what I wanted to show you today is how to paint a color wheel. And this is really important whenever you get any new medium. I don't care if it's an ink or a colored pencil or a watercolor pencil or brand new liquid watercolors, because what this will let you do is see exactly what your colors will do whenever you put them onto paper, how they'll perform, and what you can actually get out of your new mediums. I get requests for this type of lesson all the time, all over the country, all over the world. And what we'll do is we're going to paint out just a little bit of each color into a color wheel and see how it will blend out from the deepest intensity or value to the lightest. And then we'll talk a little bit about complementary colors, analogous colors, and how those colors really work together so that you get the most out of everything that you create. For this exercise, I have drawn a color wheel on a piece of my water media paper. And this water media paper is very important to use with any kind of water media, whether it's color burst or liquid watercolors, because this paper is ultra bright white. Watercolor is transparent, which actually means that you see through it. So light that reflects off of this paper actually reflects back through the color into your eye. And that's what makes my colors look so vibrant, is using them on this very ultra bright white paper. And I would urge you, anytime that you get a new medium, go ahead and swatch them out. You don't have to do it in a color wheel, although this is the way I like to do it with watercolor. You can make swatches, swatch cards, but do that because that gives you a real good idea of how those mediums perform and ways that you can use them. Right now we have two sets of liquid watercolors. This set is called Brights. And these are the brightest basic colors that are in any spectrum. In fact, I'll go ahead and kind of like name them out. There's lemon yellow. That is a beautiful primary lemon yellow. That's a primary color. Alizarin crimson, which is also a primary color. It's a brilliant red. And ultramarine blue is also a primary color. So these three colors are basically building block of all the colors in the spectrum. Lemon yellow and ultramarine blue make phthalo green. Ultramarine blue and alizarin crimson make violet. And alizarin crimson and lemon yellow make orange. And the second set of colors are called warm earth tones. These colors are rich and beautiful and sultry. They're a little more subdued than this initial palette that I put down. In the warm earth tones, there's also yellow ochre, there's merlot, sepia, burnt orange, terra verte green, and indigo. And I need to do a little shift here. So there are the 12 colors I'm going to work with today as we paint this color wheel and talk about color theory. Anytime that you're working with watercolor, I would suggest using a good watercolor brush. I tend to work with big brushes. This is a number 24 round. I love working with a big brush for a few reasons. One, a good brush, the way it's tapered, you will be able to paint fine lines with this whenever it's you've got paint loaded on this. So that doesn't scare me at all. It's a very big brush to use for fine lines, but I can do that because it's about learning how to control the water. And the other thing that's really great about using a big round brush like this, do you see this area right here? This actually holds water for you. So it actually lets you paint longer and more with the water that's here. So using this brush also really helps you learn control whenever you're painting with a watercolor brush. And this is a natural sable brush. So really what I'm going to do is just start here with my basic lemon yellow, which is a primary yellow, and work all the way around the spectrum and paint just a little bit of each color so you can see how beautiful it is. I'm going to paint really deep values in the center and then dilute with water and bring it out to a really light value. To get started, our liquid watercolors are so easy to use. I'm basically just going to put a few drops, and our colors are so brilliant. Then I'm just going to work that color. See how beautiful? Our lemon yellow is the clearest, cleanest yellow that I've ever worked with. In fact, before Color Burst and before our lemon yellow, I really never loved yellows before. This yellow has given me a whole new appreciation for yellow. So you can see how clear that is. I'm going to clear my brush now and then just paint this out the rest of the way with water. So you can see really like the luminous of this watercolor as you dilute it. And so we go from a very deep value here almost to washed out. And then I'm just going to work around the color palette. So now we have our primary colors in place. I'm going to come back and fill in with the secondary colors, which would be your greens, your violets, and oranges. So now we worked our way all the way around the spectrum from our primary colors to our secondary colors. So the last thing I want to do is go around my color wheel or my spectrum and label each one of these colors. So I'll have a good ready reference for whenever I get ready to look at this in the future when I'm painting or creating cards or looking at ways to create scrapbook layouts and backgrounds. I think this exercise is so important to do, especially if you're a new watercolorist or if you want to get better color combinations in anything that you create. And I don't care if you're working with pattern paper, solid cardstock, markers, even if you're working with alcohol markers, Copics, watercolor pencils. This lesson is a great little tool to have in your back pocket. It's almost like a way to learn how to use color in ways that will make your layouts and your artwork more beautiful. And I'm actually going to go ahead and label these. I'm going to put primary here by the lemon yellow and by the ultramarine blue and by the alizarin crimson. Then these colors will be secondary colors. So I'm just going to write secondary here. And secondary here over the greens and yellow ochre. And then secondary here over the violets. And one thing to remember when working with watercolors, your easiest color palettes are going to be analogous colors or colors that fall beside each other on the color wheel. So if we selected these three colors here, lemon yellow, yellow ochre, phthalo green, those colors work beautifully together because they're related to one another. So I'm going to write analogous here. And I'll do the same thing over here. The next would be beautiful together. Any of these greens and blues, if you just isolate those, look, that is like a beautiful water scene or a beach scene. So if you're creating cards or scrapbook backgrounds for layouts where you have a beach scene, these colors will be beautiful for that. And same thing over here. If we look at these analogous colors, look how beautiful those are. This is a good way to see complementary colors. Complementary colors fall opposite one another on the color wheel, and they provide a tremendous amount of energy when used together. However, when using watercolor, if you will need to paint them in layers or make sure that you keep them separated by thin lines of white space so that they don't blend together, because watercolor is transparent. You see through it, and when they blend together, they have a tendency to become muddy. So just keep that in mind, that complementary colors opposite each other on the color wheel can get muddy. So those would be violet and lemon yellow, alizarin crimson and phthalo green. Any of these colors that are opposite one another, like this ultramarine blue and burnt orange, orange and indigo, those are all complementary colors. And they do provide a lot of interest and energy in your composition, but they also just can tend to get muddy. So just be very careful when you're planning complementary color palettes, and understand that some special care needs to be given so that you don't end up with muddy composition. Thanks for joining me today for this lesson on color theory. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I really hope that it will help you learn and understand how to use color better, and I can't wait to see what you create with our new liquid watercolors. Thanks for watching. If you like this video and want to see more from Scrapbook.com, please like, share, subscribe, and leave a message. Happy crafting!